So welcome everyone. Mary and Madeline are up in Igloolik, so hello.
Hello.
And Lucy is in Iqaluit, so hello to Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
And Marie-Hélène is in Montreal.
Yes, hello.
And I'm in Massachusetts. So welcome everyone. Pardon?
Mexico?
Massachusetts. I wish Mexico.
Oh.
That would be so nice. So
I got confused there.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for coming. I'm really excited to talk to you all today. And I'll begin with the first question. So when the Women's Video Workshop began, what were your goals for it? Did you think you'd be sitting here talking about the Women's Video Workshop 30 years later?
When she was told by Marie-Hélène that women are capable of doing anything they want to do, not just men, because their way of life was men was the top of the house and leader. And when she was told that women are capable of doing anything, so she decided that she wants to try something new and work with Marie-Hélène. And yes, myself, I got really interested in this program, and because women, I have a very strong feeling for women of doing something and showing people, you know, what we can do, what leadership we can have, similar to Madeline, what she thought. Yeah.
Marie-Hélène, did you think you'd be sitting here 30 years later talking about the Women's Video Workshop?
No. I certainly did not think that. When I moved to Igloolik, you know, the first two women I met were Mary and Madeline, and I guess it was a way to understand, for me to make video was a way to understand where I was, with who I was, and to open up a space to share our thoughts. And as a Southern Canadian, I didn't know anything about the North because we were always kept, I mean, there was so many prejudice and no history, and we didn't know who the Inuit were really. So I was in a state of discovering this world that they were sharing with me. It was so interesting, but I didn't know that it was gonna last for so long, working with them and then with other women like Lucy, you know, joining for a while. And so, yeah.
So I'm really curious what role Arnait has played in your life, right? How did it change your life, or how did it challenge you?
Tisikautiga kattiruminakka ajorniarsiluorlutakisiani. Pillattaaqasoquya iunnu pillattaaqquyi nasoquyaullut ajorniarsiluorlutakisiani. Idiliortari tainnaqattaru.
When she's going to do some acting, they have to practice first, rehearsal and practice until they could really do it well with the filming and being doing acting for them.
Yani takirillatta kuyillattaalormarluni atullattaaqquyilertuuilaannaqattaru.
Sometimes her feeling was when she's acting, she's really acting, she's really there, she's really feeling it, she's really acting, not just acting, but really feeling it deeply. I had always fun time with working with Marie-Hélène and the elders here, plus Susan Avina. She could not make it today, but I always enjoyed working with them, and I was not acting, but also producing and directing with Marie-Hélène and helping her and translations and everything. It was challenging in the beginning, but I got hang of it, and we started working very well together.
Lucy, do you want to talk about that before I talk? Like, what's the impact of this group on you? Did it add any impact or?
For me, yes. Ang navigato kisiani ang kano agtokto si mga ang na adjileway kun inuktito karlunga day ko isumakko ang utisiuti ganarong ni pilirikaw rang ni kumun ang na adjileway ko sakitilugi akswarupi ko gilaw si mayara ang nangili piliriyaw vaktuni adjileway na sukpang mata sorludak uktorlugo uktu tigilugo Ernisornia, Merksornia, Kisileriner, Tamakwa, Ilitivalero tigilarik si Mayaka Arnaikut, Adjulor si Mayangini, Puigo de Raruartekeruni, ang Narvigataw Tuklugo, Tariakluru, Tamakwa, Arnaikuni, Adjulor si Mayu Ilitivig si Mardatartaka, Arnai, Turanganinginu. For me, I have learned a lot from Arnait. Because when I was working for Arnait TV, we focused a lot on male version of work. And so when Arnait Video Productions, I was a teenager when it started. So to see both Isuma and Arnait really focused on women objects such as labor, sewing, pregnancy, parenting. So it was my way of learning woman's point of view. So I think that this production was a whole impact on my womanhood for all these projects that they have done. So I appreciate it. Some things that my mom may have shared with me when I was a young kid that I may have forgotten. Through these recordings, I can recollect and remember.
Eikani ajilokta rangata. Tekungallattaarsimakkuilernaqattaro mailangagu. Nunnallata teikani siorlu ilaqqusoriluti useemannoqattanaorsiman.
Her feeling when she's acting was she really felt it, and it was like her lifestyle, you know, her feeling of lifestyle being in there, and not just acting, making it really real, making it real and making it happen. Marie-Hélène, okay.
I don't remember the question.
What role did it play? What role did the workshop play in your life? How did it change your life or challenge you?
Well, of course, it's what, as an adult, you know, I think it's the work I developed the most, like all the films that we did. And we started by doing like experimental work or short films, and then narrative work, and, you know, Mary work on some animation. Then we produced a movie for children that Lucy directed, and with Madeline, I co-directed feature films. You know, it impacted me professionally, but also humanly and culturally. It changed my way of seeing the world, and working in collaboration with others, my view of what is an artist, and how to write with other people and how to work with other people. I learned a lot from the translation process, because a lot of work is done into translation. Like to work with Madeline or Susan, we need to go through an interpreter. Sometimes we were able to work without an interpreter, but it's not only the language, it's also the concept and the view of the world. So it expanded, you know, my knowledge of humanity by using a language that I did not really understand, but understood in another way. Very strange. I still don't, it's difficult for me to put words into working in a language you don't really understand, but you understand. So there is communication and there is language, and you can communicate with people even if you don't use the same language. It's not a field that's very known. I don't, you know, but it's interesting.
It's amazing that you didn't all necessarily share a spoken language, right? And it worked together all these years. But as you talk about, it was this connection, right? At another level through your personalities, through collaboration. Would you all maybe talk a little more about collaboration? Because I think it's unique that you've all been collaborating for so long. So could you maybe, I don't know, talk a little bit about how you collaborate or what it means to you to collaborate, whatever you'd like.
Lucy collaborate.
Imaka ay kano ay katigik tay kayok tigik pang mga ta.
Ay katay kayo kataman na tinitas na Arnait Video Collective ni o sa kanya ko isang matay. Ay katay pakita kano kanaya katay katapita pila katay.
Ay katay katasuta iman ko na kay iman na kay sila tayo na katasuta iman na nga kanya katakot kay iman ay katay katak.
When they plan something and make an agreement to work on something, and they would say yes, like we can do that. When there's another one thing to do, and they would agree to do it again, and they would work together like this pretty well.
Did she feel like she was able to share what she wanted? Like, did she feel like, you know, she can talk and say what she wants, and how does she share that?
Tunisia man nakatero pi isumagayangan ni ato kumayang ni takon ang
Iniilik ko sila ni iniilik ko sa kayo ni kaya makayo kama. Take care common is
Inuit tradition and cultural, she would follow her what she have heard before. She would try and pass it on to women and what she had heard and what she had done before as traditional life, cultural life.
Iniititak ako ta kami torong mata. Kasi ni previous maya ko wata indak tiyo. Titak ka tiyo mitoro. Pisyo matuin nakatiyo. Ilangan ni pisyo magat.
Anyway, way of life was not in the papers. They would not write on papers because they didn't have papers and pen to write on. Mostly it was from what they have heard from the past before, what they have heard from stories before or traditional way of life, how they have heard from our ancestors and their parents or grandparents. They kept it and they would try and share.
Tayo Manila kay eman na kati makuruyan mo ini piwide si makatang nakata kay atunin yung nakakatak dito.
Back then they didn't live in one big town or city. They had little villages and they could remember better because there was no distraction in between.
You, Mary, how did you find it to collaborate, to work on films?
I have learned a lot how to interpret, translate, and communicate in between the elders and Haluna. And you know, I have learned a lot to all about mostly translation and interpreting and working with editing or directing. You know, being there, I learned a lot from you and my elders, our elders. I call them my elders because I've been working with them a long time.
For me, living in both worlds, the traditional way of life of Inuit and modern way of modern woman, and being able to understand Inuktitut and speak Inuktitut, and being able to understand and speak English. And I don't really understand too much French, so I'm not confident to speak to Marie-Hélène in French. I understand a little bit. So it was a good way to bridge the two worlds and make a film that tells both stories. Both point of views was what I love about working with Arnait Video Productions, because you got to learn from my aunt, Elder, and Susan, my panikuluk, and other women who were involved. And also we got to learn from Marie-Hélène, filming, lighting, or editing, special effects. So the production side was so much from Marie-Hélène, and a lot of traditional side was from our elders. That's what I loved about collaborating with our elders and Marie-Hélène. And when I was a young teenager, Mary showed her animation. And I think it was my inspiration to see that women are eligible to do animations as well, because I've never seen animation done by Inuk until Mary shared hers. So it was an inspiration for me to see that women can do anything as well as much as men can when it comes to filming anyways. Yeah. Makkurlau yaklungaru inna parulungaru kallunau yarunarlunga tukisiallungaru inuktiturunnarlunga tukisiallungaru akaunaqallaqiksimayu uvannun ilinnillu panikulunillu ilittivaallersimallaqikkama inuktitu peqqusittinni amma Marie-Hélène ilittivaallersimagillunga taakkuanakatterini ajilioriniin qaumaruarpallu taarsigiariaqarpalluuniin ajilioritilluta tamakkua ini peqqusingillu qallunaallu auraqqu ingirrajjutingi ajiliorutikkun toraangajumi ilittiivigisimallarittakka sivullerpaattiangulorsimallunnilu Mary utainna aqtorsi aaqqilorsimayanga takuyumigi vittuarorsimagakku ilisarilluгуру aqtorsinermi qawimayuttuungittugusunarpa takutittuinnartavullu inuuqqativu pikkugiyaarugerorsimayarali uvanganangmina arnartigu
Working on
ayungittinnaartinni ilisarillu.
Thank you. Yes, talking about the animation, yeah, I learned it from Andrew. He helped me, and I learned it very quickly because I'm an artist myself, and I do a lot of artwork with traditional stories. Susan and Madeline are telling these little stories, children's stories. I managed to animate those. And also from my own experience of paralyzed dream, I had some children's acting for us and some animation I did, and we put it together. That turned out very well. And I was so impressed when Marie-Hélène told me a couple of years ago that it's going to be shown on CD during Halloween time. And I was like, wow, like in a big city, in a big building and tall building, it was going to be shown. I forgot where, maybe New York. I forgot where, but that turned out really good, and I was so impressed. Unikkartua kataklusi uvanga qarasaviakku aaqitsuloorsimayakulukkateikua unikkauserillасарпара amma artorsidutigiloorsimayarataina nutaqqatni pinguartiiqarluta amma taakkua titera yarsimayakka katillugi aaqitsuloorsimayaru saqqiyaatitauluorsimangmanaki laringmanga eqqamattianiktua New York muqportu iglurduaraalunni portuyorluormatta tavvuuna saqqiyaartitauluni taina tarrigaarsa upigilaorsimallugu.
Do you have anything to add, Marie-Hélène?
Yes, collaborating. I think what's interesting is that to me, to start to work in Igloolik was meeting people who were ready to do anything. Like there was, it wasn't so separate, like, oh, you're going to be the director, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. And we're all doing different things. Like people work together and people ask each other how to do things and the best way. And everybody was able to give a hand anytime, so it was very collaborative in that way. That's why we called it a collective, I guess, for a long time. It also teaches patience and time, because in the north, maybe like in the south, the time is not the same. Time is slower. So, you have to also learn to work in that time. So that's interesting. Also, I think we should also talk about, when I listened to Madeline and Mary, I realized, yeah, we started to make video for the people in Igloolik. And Mary's saying, oh, I was surprised it was going to be shown, you know, in a big city and people would see it. It's interesting that, you know, in the first few years, we started to show the work outside of Igloolik, but the first audience was really the audience of Igloolik. And then people realize, oh, other people are interested, you know? So there's yeah, obviously other people are interested because it's a distinct voice from a very specific point of view. So it's original.
So 29 years ago was when you showed the work in Buffalo. Marie-Hélène and Marta came down to Buffalo to show the work. And I was organizing a festival, a video festival. And I called a friend in Toronto and he started telling me that there was this video coming from Igloolik and that I should see it and I should invite these video makers to come to Buffalo. So I got on the phone, right? That old satellite phone, right? With all the echoes. And I can't remember if I talked to you right away, Marie-Hélène, or if I left a message, but back and forth. Yeah, it was such a long time ago. And I remember that first audience in Buffalo. I remember you showed some home video. You showed some work by Zach and Asuma, right? And you showed the women's video workshop videos. And so it's exciting to be able to show your work again after 29 years.
Yeah, we probably showed Kudlik, and I think I was organizing something called a home video contest, where people were sending the videos they were making, mostly hunting, and we share some of those. Yeah, that was for the Tariaksuk Video Center first activity. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we might have shown the survey for a women's video workshop.
Yeah,
I think
probably
so.
could be.
Yeah, a long time ago. But I'm wondering, it's really great, Lucy, to hear your perspective as someone who grew up watching these videos and being influenced and inspired. And I'm wondering what you all think the legacy, or what you would like the legacy of Arnait to be. How you think about what you want people to take away from the body of work that you've made together.
It's funny. I don't know what to say. I think I think I'm proud of the process that we made those video and films together. I think the process is so important to me, and the content also, and probably the content might be more important for Madeline, for example, that people remember, you know, the tradition and the stories, and I think in that video workshop, survey for a women's video workshop, Madeline was saying, you know, we want to talk to our children. They don't really come and talk to us and hear our stories. So we're going to make films so that they can, because they're watching TV, so they're going to see us telling them the stories we want them to hear. So she wanted to preserve those stories that are unique. So I think the content to me is important, but also the way we made those, the way we work together, and yeah.
Una.
What was that question again?
What you think the legacy is, what you want people to
Okay.
take away from the body of work.
Okay.
You could say, what do you
Lucy,
want?
start?
How do you want people to remember Arnait video?
Can she go on now, Madeline? Okay, Hanoligo, Ikamai, so Pugayak Pio, Tana, Arnait Video Collected, Pilla Katastasi, Marie-Hélène Okalasami, Kakwa Pilla Katastabu, Ilisario, Tisha Kurdonigin, Amaru, Okaloximani, Nutakai, Kaikogarashli, Naraglutik. Kaya yung mata, tagaya yung mata TV ko. Takwa akisong gusto TV ko no takani taku yoro ni. Kaya man nari okala sa akin. Amma evidently siwon kanoli ilisaryo mayaw kunayak yung.
Ini iman piwarang ningin ilangi. Adilok to katero kata. Iman titik kata kami mati ini piwasi ningin. Tau tu iman nasunawe ko piwak tuwiniru iman nari yokarok si mangin. Titik si mangin mata ada nege yo unikwa lutakan ilan. Ada nege yo katerok. Lutakan no. Tapi manili uyak tu ngarak lok. Apa
No, I don't want to make it too long. I'm going to cut her for a bit. Kanila si Woodley Okakoye.
Nitakat arene besokata. Naon iman Devin nitakat sa mga iman apelay.
Oh, hey. She wanted the tradition, Inuit tradition, to be shown on TV. Was because a lot of people don't know about Inuit cultural and tradition. And also she wanted children to know our background, like our past life, Inuit traditional life. And someone had even said, oh, I didn't know you guys did that before. And she wanted in a film so young kids can see also. Kisukan ng mulo. She would be asked by kids if it was that cold, like if she was cold that day. Kaya na kariyo sa todo si uyak kang mga ti ukayak na kalabi.
Kaya na kaysa ko daw ito nga.
Okay, yes, sumaya si tao.
Uyak yung mga mga kalong mga uyak daw tayo kami. Tako yung malu.
When she was acting for, what was that, Marie-Hélène again?
Before Tomorrow, I think.
Before Tomorrow. And when she was acting in that, wolves were attacking her and what do you call that? Mold? Uviacto.
Yes, that's how you call it. They bite her, they mold
Yeah,
her.
attacked her. And when she went to Iqaluit and someone asked her, did the wolves really attack you? Let me see, can I see what scars you have? And she's like, can I show you? And he said, no, and walked away. It was an impression of people too, like after they had seen the movie.
It was very realistic for people, I guess. And that's she liked the fact that she made the story so real that people believe them.
So Because Inuit didn't have, also she said, Inuit didn't have written in paper by only memory. It was great to show on TV that people can see Inuit way of life or traditional way of life. Not just Inuit Kalunaks too, yeah.
Kama bagyan nakto imanisang mani. Ito doktor dun. Imani ko piwarok to imani nakto ekang nakatero.
During the acting, she would, her memory would come back that Inuit used to do this, Inuit used to do that. It would all come back to her while she's acting. Mm.
That's amazing.
Mm.
It's a bodily experience, an embodied experience.
Mhm. It's okay, go ahead.
I just want to open it up if there's anything that you want to talk about, anything that's important to you, thinking over your history, anything that you want to say about working together. I just wanted to open it up for that as well.
Kana kami tuwing na ukawsit sa kawitas mga iling no ato takalaw tana video collective iling no ato takalaw ni nga kanu ukawsri kan na ron na obyo o magayak pyo o karon ni kanu ilik kami sa palusi.
Kano ilino ang nakbi akto ti kaksimang mga adjilew katak si Malusi ang nikunon. Ino ka di tinulo akto ti kaksimako ka.
Ila invitation mani Inuit. Sierang okjoro. Unang mata uang ali sierang ro kasi mita ro ka. Suno sierang uyuwini. Ang nay ayong itum naktuwini kau yelilok si mayunga. Time na mimi narin na kujilok si ma ningini kay kajak tunga. Time na kau yelilok si mayo kay dilok si mayo. Tapos yung mga ako masikar.
Lucy, ukawsri yung mabyo.
When she joined Arnait Video Productions, it really opened her eyes that women are capable to do what a man can do. Because most of her life, she was always, I mean, I guess when she was young, she did not realize how Caucasian come into our land and Inuit having to obey. She didn't realize how much slavery, I guess there was, or injustice back in the day. And now that with this Arnait Video Productions, learning that women were capable as well as men, she learned that her voice was important, her actions were important, and that woman's point of view is important. So it was her way of transitioning from traditional way of womanhood to modern way of womanhood, where we do have a voice and our thoughts and feelings are important as much as the man's thoughts and feelings. Tema na kay Mary.
Yeah, you said it well. Yeah.
Is there anything else?
For me,
yeah.
I would interpret for Marie-Hélène when Mary was not available, but I really got involved with Arnait in 2017 when we were co-writing Tian Puyok. And it was my time to share what I have always heard of when I was a little girl, of our legends and our traditional beliefs. So when I was given that opportunity to co-write and direct, I took that chance to bring in what I've heard as a kid into the screen. And I was so honored to have my Aunt Madeline and Susan as my master degree elders. They may not have gone to university, but they're masters
God.
in my eye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, their knowledge, their skills are amazing, amazing. Sorry to
Ang nagveo kasara makanugligo uvan no agtuti kaksimang mga tana ang naikuadjili ringan ukauti tara ilaw katangisu yarok tunga sivudlirmin Mary tu sayu yun nang ikanga me tu sayu rok pagsunga kisiani tema titirak paglayok tiluta tiya piu yorlo adjili rilakslugilo adjili rikatayok lutagudlo tu sa mavarok tekate kwa unikak tuat ili yumarwarok si magaki ilil nilo panikurun nilo ili tivalit kanilok tekka puigurik tagarwak ka unikak tuari overok tui ili tivalit kaniro tigiluar bilawak tagata na adjileo retilo tigo puigurik arwarok taga utirun na roman amma adjileo rilok tabutak reaktorok suni Oh, takuyen yugiva bu tusa mavarok tekanu tagaw tilunga hakswaru ikayu tikalakilaw to takuyaw gami pikkugiyaw ni ngani amma ilisagayaw yun naksuni karasino nani ammaruni kanadamin tana tarek suluni iraklunin pikkusitini ajigi gunangin ajigi parung ningin ni Hawilaw mi yung tana tia piu yoglu adjilugilog. It was a big people commenting on the film. It was an inspiration for me because all these comments were either from Canada or even Greenland, and learning that our legends are shared all across Canada and Greenland. Similarities. So it was so fascinating to see and present it in Iglulik, and children and even adults saying, oh, it's so nice to see our legends on screen from our point of view.
It really impact on me was that I learned to communicate very well with our elders because I was young that time and scared to communicate well with elders, asking them serious question or something was too much for me, because respecting our elders in a way was to respect them so much that you don't sometimes even have to say or ask. But I learned to communicate better with Susan and Madeline as we worked together, and Marie-Hélène, and it was a great teamwork, and we did a lot of work, and we did a lot of translation and a lot of writing and budgeting and everything, and I learned a lot from that. It wasn't just me learning, and also I passed it on to my students who that time I was working with at elementary school, kindergarten. I would tell them stories, what I have heard from our elders, and they would be quiet and listen and impress, and also working with young teenagers and acting for us, that turned out very well, and great communication in between.
I want to say thank you for everything that I learned and to have been welcome in this amazing culture with lots of gentleness and a lot of laugh. We laughed a lot. Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I'm really looking forward to the exhibition. We'll make this Zoom available. So, Marie-Hélène will put it on Facebook Live and wherever else it is that you might want to place it. It'll be available for other folks to watch, not just the folks in Buffalo.
Great.
Thank you very much for organizing the exhibition, Laura. Also, it's great to have our work shown in Buffalo after 30 years.
Wow.
Maybe to bracket. I don't know.